Hi there, this is Pauline. How are you doing? This is my second video. My first one was pre-op and had my surgery on the 2nd of July. So I'm just over a week post-op and finally back home. So I was staying at friends immediately post-op. So had a chance to sit down and actually do an update YouTube video. So I apologize for the delay, but I thought it was important to capture the next stage in my journey right now. During my first video, I talked about my story of Goldilocks and the Two Bears, and I went to the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America meeting shortly after I made that video, and the whole premise of the video was that I'd never really found my just right. I was always going through this cycle of binging and then not eating, and then eating too much and then eating too little, and I never knew what just right actually even felt like. So one of the things that kind of struck me like a little bit of a lightning bolt when I was at WLS, why do I have such trouble saying that, WLSFA meeting, was when I saw the stand that had the designed portion bowls and plates, and I want to show you why. I decided to treat myself since I was just pre-surgery and was going to be sort of having a chance to set up a nice table and set up eating right for myself. So I decided to purchase the plate and the bowl, and here's the plate, and some of you may have seen this at the conference. The plate is designed to look like you've got more food on the plate than there actually is, and each of the circles actually is a portion size. So there's half a cup in the inner ring and 3/4 of a cup on the outer ring here. And then to go with this is also, this is tablespoons as well actually, and 1/4 of a cup in that round pink circle there. But also comes with it a bowl, and inside the bowl are 2 rings, and I'll have to refer to my handy dandy guide here, 1 cup and 1.5 cups. So that's, I think, what's on there. No, I apologise, half a cup and 1/4 of a cup. So I've been, because I'm just over a week post-op RNY, I've been putting my soup in this bowl, my blended soup, and it's made it look like I've got a large portion, which my brain and my eyes right now are still thinking pre-op, and my stomach is very much thinking post-op. So I think I finally know what full feels like. Pardon me. So I know what full feels like, and I sort of feel that all the time, but I've absolutely no idea what hungry feels like anymore. And I felt like I used to be hungry all the time. So the situation for me has completely switched, and it's going to take some time for my eyes and brain, I think, to catch up with that, because, you know, I first look at little tiny portions and think, oh geez, I'm so hungry. But then halfway through, I'm like, I'm stuffed, can't eat anymore. So anyway, that's the plate and bowl. But here's what blew me away. When I looked at the box that these came with, these are by Live Liga. Right there in the blue is my just right. And I thought that was meant to be, so I had to purchase them. So I finally have my just right. And hopefully these tools, they're beautiful. I set a little place for myself, set up the table, and try and make mealtime an event rather than running and not really being aware that I was eating, which was what was happening before, kind of mindless eating. So my just right is just here. Some of the other things that I've been doing is I love cookbooks. I have this thing about cookbooks. And so while I was at the conference, I did actually purchase this book here. And it's got some lovely recipes in it, but they're a bit too advanced for where I am right now. But it's one thing I'm trying to do is start planning ahead so that I don't end up kind of wondering what to eat. So I've been kind of going through here and sort of longingly looking at some of the recipes and trying to figure out a plan for myself. The other one that I got, in fact, I actually ordered quite a few, but they haven't arrived from Amazon. They've kind of been messed up, their delivery. But this one here, and I was staying with a friend, so I'm gonna make a shout out here. Because my husband lives in London, and obviously I couldn't be alone around surgery, Laura Van Tile, who's board member for WLSFA, was a real sweetheart and came and sat with me prior to surgery and took care of me that first sort of weekend while I was in the hospital. And then my friend Jackie and Jim looked after me in their house for the last week. So thank you very much. I took this book with me, and Jackie, who's very much sort of engaged in trying to help me, she went through this recipe book and actually cooked a couple of the recipes. She cooked this scallop recipe right here, and said it was absolutely delicious. So she's got that planned to make for me in the future for a special event. There's also some more recipes in here with pork tenderloin that she picked out and cooked, and her husband really enjoyed them. So I think what she was trying to do was find things that she could cook that she knew I would be able to eat in the future, and sort of have some fun and explore a couple of new recipes at the same time. So that was actually really good. The thing I love about this particular book is it actually has, if you can see here, has serving guidelines by the type of surgery that you've had and how many weeks out you are, and shows how much each portion size would be. So for a complete newbie like me, I'm actually finding that quite helpful. There are a couple of recipes in here right now that are okay for me to use. So that's been quite nice, because to be honest, I had a commercial shake complete meltdown. I just can't do sweet shakes anymore. Artificial sweetener just tastes horrendous. And I got to the point really at the beginning of this second week where I was just gagging at the thought of having another protein shake. And so I've moved to broths with unflavored protein powder in it, and that's much better for me. I really have, for someone who had such a sweet tooth pre-surgery, I've lost that completely, and now all I want is savory, 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 savory. So, you know, it is true what you hear people saying about potentially your taste changing. So I'm actually not ruling out even things that I didn't like pre-surgery. I'm going to give them a whirl when it's the appropriate time. The final book that I purchased that has arrived so far is this one. And this is actually very helpful because it walks you through the different phases of food that you can eat and gives you a meal plan with recipes. So this one actually was quite sort of reassuring for a newbie post-op. So I found this book very, very helpful and will continue to guide me as I go through. Really, for me, this is like going back to babyhood, really. You go through protein shakes, and then you go through the puree food, and then the soft food. So this to me is my baby's guide to eating again after gastric bypass surgery. So highly recommend it. One of the things that the books really recommended was because the portion sizes end up being so small for a immediate sort of post-opper, rather than eating the same thing every day and getting totally sick of it, they recommend that you freeze 2 tablespoon portions of the food after blending it. And so I actually found, this was from Joann's, this is one of those little bite-sized cake molds, but I bought a couple of these, and basically I've been making up recipes blending them and then putting them in here and freezing them. And then when they're frozen, popping them into labeled Ziploc baggies. So I've got a choice of food rather than making one batch and then sort of feeling like I have to eat it all. And it taking me like a week to get through one recipe. So there you go, lots of exciting things. Can't do another shake. If I see another Premier Protein shake in my horizon, can't do it. The Boost glucose control that was recommended by my program gave me horrendous cramps and diarrhea, so I had to switch away from that anyway. So yeah, I'm just homemade shakes I can do. So I've been doing a little bit of green smoothies, kind of liquefied down a little bit, and I seem to be tolerating those quite well, so that's good. Yeah, biggest surprise for me really has been no pain, no nausea. Just really the aversion to sweet things has been a huge surprise for me, and really the whole idea of my eyes looking at portion sizes and thinking, oh God, I'm so hungry, that's just going to take me 3 seconds to eat down, and no, it takes me nearly an hour and I'm so full. So stopping before I get to the full point has been something I've been focusing on for the last couple of days, and I'm getting much better at it. It's almost like I have to slow down even more than I was, because it takes that long for the signal to get through to kind of say, nope, stop. And I think I finally learned what those signals feel like. It's almost like it's a very subtle feeling. It's almost like I take a sigh before I eat a next mouthful, and I'm starting to think, okay, that sigh is telling me no more. And then I'm very comfortable. So yeah, that's been kind of interesting. And for those veterans, you know all of this, but I guess it's fun watching a newbie go through the Voyager Discovery again. I've lost about 12 pounds this first week post RNY. One thing that I am not going to do initially, I'll see how it goes, but I don't really want to get hung up on numbers, so I'm not going to do the traditional starting weights and post-op weights and all that good stuff, because I don't want to get obsessed by that. I'm also trying to be more intuitive about eating rather than worrying about numbers as much as well, because I think that's a healthier place for me to be. So, yep, I'm about 13 minutes in. That's good. I didn't want this to be too long. But thank you to all of you who gave me a shout out and wished me well. This next week is going to be just more fluids, more of the right textured food. And next weekend, I'm actually going to be flying back to England. Unexpectedly, I was given a pass to go visit hubby for a couple of weeks. So I'll be videoing you from there. I have absolutely no idea how to survive a nearly 10-hour plane flight on a weight loss surgery post-op diet. So that's something I'm going to have to really try and figure out. It's so difficult now to take stuff on that's liquid, so I've got to try and figure out creative ways to have protein powder and mix it with stuff once I'm post security. So if you have any ideas, please post them down below. I would love to hear from you. I wish you all well and take care. I hope you find you're just right too. Bye bye.